Foreclosures, a great way to get a deal on a house, right? Or is it? That's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to this edition of Real Estate Unlocked. I'm Melissa Spittle, the local real estate expert. A lot of home buyers think buying a foreclosure is the way to go. After all, they'll save lots of money by buying a house for cheap. But it's not that simple, and they often change their mind when they find out what it really costs to buy a foreclosure. When people talk about buying a foreclosure, it typically means the homeowner has already gone through the foreclosure process, is completely out of the picture, and the home is now being sold by their lender. You'll often hear foreclosures referred to as REO, or real estate owned. This is the same as bank owned. These terms simply mean the homeowner defaulted on their mortgage and now the lender is selling the property. It's important to understand that foreclosure is typically a lengthy process, and foreclosed houses have usually been vacant for who knows how long. It's also important to know the rules are different when the lender is selling a house. Why do people buy foreclosures? Their goal is to buy a house under market value, but there can be risks. There can be liens, past due taxes, past HOA fees due, or multiple mortgages that aren't immediately obvious. However, when a foreclosure has been finalized and the lender has taken back the property, the foreclosure clears the property of any of these issues. But there are some things you need to be aware of when it comes to buying a foreclosure, because that great deal is still going to cost you money, sometimes more than you were even prepared for. Foreclosures are sold as is and will likely need some repairs. The bank that owns the house is not going to fix anything. Some repairs can be immediate, such as a plumbing leak, a bad roof, or replacing wiring that's missing. Because sometimes when people are forced to move out, they intentionally trash the house. I've seen holes punched in walls, floors destroyed, wiring ripped out, signs of flooding from bathtubs that have been allowed to overflow, and so on. This isn't the case with every foreclosure, but you should certainly be prepared to spend time and money to make the house livable. Another thing to be aware of is foreclosures sit vacant for anywhere from a few months to a few years. During this time, the house deteriorates and there's no one checking on it. Pipes can freeze, mold can grow, roofs get older and sometimes get holes in them. Critters move in. Sometimes people who aren't even authorized to be there move in. All of these scenarios can easily lead to money that needs to be spent to fix up the house. There's one more way that foreclosures will cost you more money than if you bought a house from the traditional homeowner. There are fees buyers pay when buying a house. Those fees are called closing costs. When buying a house from the homeowner, there are certain closing costs that are typically divided 50-50 between both buyers and sellers. With foreclosures, though, those fees are not divided 50-50. There are certain fees called transfer taxes that banks simply aren't required to pay. Instead, buyers must pay 100% of those fees instead of 50%. This easily adds up to thousands of dollars depending on the price of the house. So once again, if you think you'll save a lot of money buying a foreclosure, do your homework, because it will cost you extra money. If you aren't afraid to do some work, let's talk about how you can buy a foreclosure. The first thing you need to do is get pre-approved for financing if you're planning to get a loan. Banks simply won't accept offers without proof of you being able to get a loan. But not every type of loan can be used to buy a foreclosure. Most foreclosures can only be bought with a conventional loan, a renovation loan, or cash. FHA, VA, and USDA loans require houses to be move-in ready, which most foreclosures are not. If you're planning to pay cash instead, you'll need to provide proof of funds. This means you'll need to provide bank statements showing where the money's coming from. Ultimately, banks want proof that you actually have the money available when you make an offer on a foreclosure. The second thing you need to do is make a realistic offer. Yes, you'll probably pay less for a bank-owned property because it's a foreclosure and it's sold as is. But the bank sees this as a business decision and will not entertain unrealistic lowball offers. The decision makers at the bank know the real estate market conditions, and they've already lost money on the house, so they know and have their own expectations of how much they will sell the house for. No one from the bank has ever seen the house, and quite honestly, they don't care what it looks like. What they do care about is their bottom line after the house is sold. So, as already mentioned, it's strictly a business decision, and the bottom line is all that matters to the bank. If an offer doesn't meet their bottom line, they usually won't even consider the offer. Or if they do, they might make a counteroffer that works for them. There really isn't much negotiating with a bank when you're trying to buy a foreclosure. Either you want to buy the house at their terms or you don't. What's next? If you make an offer on a foreclosure and the bank ends up accepting it, you'll need to be prepared for the bank to make the rules and call the shots. They will usually expect you to take ownership within 30 days. If you want to have any inspections done, they will give you a very short timeline in which to have them done. Sometimes they will determine the title company that will be used and not give you any choices. Just be prepared to cooperate and do things the bank's way. I'm Melissa Spittle, the local real estate expert, where it's always about keeping it real. Do you need help buying a foreclosure? Let's do it. I'll get you through it. Thinking twice about a foreclosure? Let's talk about your options. Stay up to date. Don't miss my other videos about buying a house in Maryland.